Join us for lively discussion about the A-State community. Each week, we'll meet with a variety of faculty, staff, and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And this is A-State Connections on KASU and ASU-TV. I'm Johnathan Reaves, News Director with KASU Public Radio and the host of A-State Connections, the radio show on KASU. Arkansas State University houses the H.O.W.L Transition Program to help students with autism and intellectual disabilities transition to college life. H.O.W.L stands for Helping Our Wolves Learn. The goal is to provide positive learning environments for students participating in the program. Telling us more is the H.O.W.L Transition Program Coordinator Elizabeth Snow and H.O.W.L Transition Program member Tristan Wainwright. Thank you both for being here and welcome to A-State Connections.
Thank you for inviting us.
Elizabeth, tell us about, I just can't kind of give a little bit about the program, but kind of give us some more details on what you all do.
Sure. We are a two-year program that is housed on our A-State Jonesboro's campus, and we provide services to students with intellectual disabilities and or autism in order to provide the college experience, but also working on learning independent living skills and social skills and career skills. So basically learning how to adult and to be as independent as possible when they finish our program. We, in our second year, when our students go on internships and they really develop the career skills, we work on helping them find jobs that fit their personalities and what their dream job is. So if a student loves radio, TV, and broadcasting, helping them find a way to be within that field.
Yeah, and I know that's one of the interests that Tristan has is going into video, which we'll talk here in just a little bit about. I'm really curious about how the program got started.
Our director, Dr. Kristen Johnson, before I started, she was, she is a school psychology professor, and she could see that there was just a gap for services for individuals with autism and intellectual disabilities, not just at colleges, but just in general. And there are some transition programs throughout the United States, and there's a few in Arkansas, but nothing like that within our area and our region. And so she saw that gap, and she worked with our department and our college and our previous chancellor to really get it started. She heard the old motto that every red wolf counts, and she really wanted to make A-State an inclusive place, or to help A-State to be a more inclusive place for everyone, so that every red wolf truly does count.
Right, and so tell us about what the participants in the program are able to do on campus, please.
So we encourage our students to be able to do almost anything that any other student would do. Our students come and live on campus. They are involved in activities and organizations. They're able to take classes outside of H.O.W.L. Some of our students audit classes just depending on their individual needs. And if they're auditing classes, then I help the professor modify the course. And if our students choose to take it for credit, then they meet the same criteria that any other student within the class meets, with accommodations from Access Services.
Right. So Tristan, welcome. Thank you for being here today. How did you find out about the program?
Me and my father, we just went around Louisiana trying to find a college that would be having a service for autistic students, but we couldn't afford that. And it is hurricane season, so we just discovered this place, and then we moved up here.
How do you like being here at Arkansas State?
It got me new to everything ever since I've been starting with H.O.W.L. Like with Best Life class, life skills, we talked about relationships, and then it got me open to networking with people.
Fantastic. And how has the program helped you in your life?
It helped me just gun through what finding a job would be in my own favor of a career.
Yeah, very good. Elizabeth, when you're dealing with students, I want to ask about how you help students in that transition over to college. What does that look like?
Well, we work, our students, so typically students come to college their freshman year in August. Our students actually start in July. And so that's the start of their transition. So they come in, they move to campus, and we get them used to the campus. We show them around, and we work on study skills, what it takes to be a successful student. We introduce them to faculty and peer mentors. Sometimes that's more in the fall, but they do also work with mentors in the summer as well. And that helps get them transition. They have somebody, like a touch point other than just us, so that they can really explore campus and they really get to know what it's like to be a student before everybody else comes in. So their comfort level is there. And we work with the families too, because sometimes it's also hard for the families to have their kids go to college just like any other family.
Right. Well, and I can imagine that there are some, there's some fears and those things, and I know that you all try to work with those families to make sure, hey, they're a red wolf and they're going to be taken care of.
Yes. Yes. Just like, any other student that comes to college, college is a great, just kind of like insulated place to be able to start spreading your wings to be independent, because you have a pretty good safety net of professors and staff members who really look out for you. And again, that's for any student, but we really provide extra supports for our students as well.
How has the support from Arkansas State been integral in this program, and by way of Arkansas State, helping you all out with this program? How important has that been?
Oh, it's extremely important. Our mentors, staff and faculty, and the Penn mentors, I really have to give a whole lot of credit to them, because they work with our students, oftentimes one-on-one, and helping them get very comfortable and helping them like really discover what they're wanting to do and how they can interact with in campus, and just really how to be the most engaged and successful and be able to really live their dreams and to live out loud.
Right. Tristan, I wanted to learn a little bit more about you. Tell us about what are some of the interests that you have. What is it video editing? Is it those things? What are some of the things you like to do?
A lot of times, mostly I just haven't done. I've done theater on stage stuff, and then before that, I've gotten into film production. It was Hollywood, uh, acting, and all of that.
Yeah. Well, what do you like about that? What is that you like?
Major aspect, I wouldn't be worried so much about the income or money, but
Sure.
the connections, like the positive reaction that people can get.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of that as well. When you think about Elizabeth, when you think about Tristan and what he is doing, and how you're impacting his life, and that, I mean, you're talking about an amazing kid right here who's doing some really good things.
Yeah, our students, Tristan included, they amaze me every day. Their resilience, their attitudes to really try something new and to be able to put themselves out there. It's really inspiring, because our students, they take classes, they have the same homework that most other students have.
Yeah.
They have all these same responsibilities and more, because they're learning, a lot of our students for the first time, how to do a lot of skills that other people take for granted, like maybe making the bed or how to communicate appropriately in certain situations. And so they're taking all the regular college stuff, and then on top of that, they're learning just really, really difficult skills if you don't already know them. So like cooking, that's a really hard skill if you don't know how to do that.
Right.
Communication, those soft skills, which are important in almost every aspect of life, it's a whole lot of work to learn. And so our students they're super inspiring. Like never give up, and to always to put yourself out there and do your best.
Right. How has the program grown over the years?
So we are still pretty relatively new. Tristan is our third group of students that we have accepted. He started in July, but from our first group, we have doubled in our size with our students, and we have, like I mentioned, our mentorship program earlier. That is also just continue to grow because the A-State just family has really taken our students and our program under their wing to provide support. So we continue to grow, and we continue to really push for our students to be able to do more and more, and they are. So we have students in so many different places on campus doing, like I said earlier, chasing their dreams so that they are getting that experience.
I want to start this conversation, and we may have to continue it on the other side of the break, but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about how you all will take students, either ones that are working on their degrees or maybe volunteer students, and they're working with amazing participants like Tristan. How do you get students involved in that?
So, like for our mentors that are coming
Yeah,
in and working with
yeah,
our students,
yeah.
well, we send out a lot of like flyers, and we go and talk to classes to tell them about HOWL, and that really gets people motivated to want to come and to want to come help and to meet students as wonderful as Tristan. And So we've had a lot of faculty members that have been phenomenal and opened their classrooms up to let us be able to come talk to their students and invite them to come meet our students, the house students. And so I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, you actually are.
okay.
Yeah, you are.
And so they come and they to match our mentors, to become a mentor, they come and they fill out a survey about interests and their values, and so things that they really like. And each of our house students also took that same survey, and we match our mentors with our house students. So if someone is interested in Tristan radio, TV, or theater, then when we have a mentor that's also interested in those things, we match them together. And it could also be value. So if someone has a very strong value in like loyalty or their religious beliefs or something along those lines, then we also work to try to match them in those aspects too. So that gives them a pretty good firm foundation to start their relationship.
Fantastic. We'll continue this conversation coming up here on the other side. Elizabeth Snow is program coordinator of the HOWL Transition Program. Tristan Wainwright is a member of the HOWL Transition Program. And we'll continue the conversation after this quick timeout. We'll be right back after this.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Here to deliver the latest news on A-State sports, ranging from football, basketball, baseball, and more.
I'm your host, Tristan Harlan, alongside your other host, Cooper Melder.
Red Wolf Roundtable is your local sports source.
Tune in to Red Wolf Roundtable to get your fix on sports talk and news.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And welcome back to A-State Connections on KASU and ASU-TV. We're talking today about the H.O.W.L transition program at Arkansas State. I'm having a great conversation with Elizabeth Snow, who's the program coordinator of the H.O.W.L transition program, and Tristan Wainwright, a member of the H.O.W.L transition program. Once again, thank you both so much for joining us here today.
Of course.
So we were talking about before the break students that will match, with and serve as mentors. How important is that to have those mentors?
They make the program along with our program students.
Sure.
Because I'm quite a bit older than our students, and so sometimes it might be harder for them to relate, or they might not want to come to their teacher and talk about some of the things that's going on, and that they really want to get off their chest, or that they want to explore. And so they have their mentors to be able to do that with. They form these really, really close friendships and bonds. And the mentors also form those bonds. They also get just as much out of it as our students get. They grow because they're learning about the individual student, but also learning about the different disabilities that the students may have. And it really opens their eyes to not just look at a person's disability, but also to look at the whole person and see that they really are capable of so much more.
Sure. Tristan, I wanted to ask you about your work in autism awareness and activism. Tell us about that, please.
We've just been, me and my dad, we've been going around probably somewhere around Louisiana, the state, to host like the Autism Society of Lake Charles, that's down south. And we just kind of have started our own group, Empowering Autism, in my hometown, DeRidder. Sort of meetings with parents about giving accommodation to those kids in like their schools with the board, saying like, what if your kid needs extended time or such. And we also had done like fundraising for one high house to the autism awareness to fund to raise it up.
Right. What are some things that you want people to know that they may not know about this, and how they can help people who have autism or other intellectual disabilities, that how we can provide help?
Just because it might have looked different to some, but that doesn't mean that it would be a bad effect on society. It means that people, they could still have the great skills. They still be like us, and then and they can always have great achievements. You see, like Raymond did well at the box office because it just accurately tells about what autism is.
Yeah, Rain Man, great movie. That's
Right.
a fantastic movie. Elizabeth, and I want to ask you the same question about the need for more education when it comes to autism and other intellectual disabilities.
Sure. So a lot of people have heard of autism. Not as many people have heard of intellectual disabilities. But even for people who've heard of autism, there's stereotypes, and they may not know exactly what it is, or all they know is what they've seen in the movies, or just what they've heard from a friend or from like a particular family member. But it can so autism and intellectual disabilities can span on how it may affect a person, and really, and how it may affect the person. But it can also lead us, or lead people to start stereotyping, and
Sure.
to not let, or whenever they are interacting with somebody, to make some preconceived judgments on the person. So, saying, they can't do this because, instead of actually letting them have the chance to show that they can do it.
Yeah. And I would imagine that a program like this gives them the confidence to be able to know that they can do this.
Yes, a lot of our students have really stepped out of their shells. Some of our students come and they're not afraid of anything. They really want to try. But some of our students, they really develop their voice and really are able to express their wants and their needs, and to really shine, because for several of our students, this is their first time really being in the place to have that independence, because they've had teachers or family members that are always there that's always been there, like supporting them, that's kind of told them, you do this, and you do this. Well, now they're actually having to put those skills to work themselves.
Right. We were talking about, and we started this segment off talking about how mentors work with students, but I would imagine there was always a need for mentors. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes, we're always looking for more mentors, because the more people that are involved, the bigger each individual student's network is, and the more we can grow as a program. And because each mentor comes in with unique ideas and unique skills, just like our program students. So each one has their own unique ideas and unique abilities, and so the more that we have, the better and stronger a program that we are.
Yeah. And so, are there certain areas on campus where you have like a lot of mentors, maybe in a certain area, but maybe like, for example, in the in the multimedia, radio, TV, may not be nearly as many. If you know what I'm trying to ask, are there
Yes.
certain areas where if students are watching this, where they may be interested in doing something like this?
Well, I actually have a lot of my students are really interested in multimedia, whether it's radio production, video production. It's a really, really common interest in our area, and so we would love more students that are mentors that have more of the background knowledge, because I'm completely ignorant when it comes to a lot of this. Tristan knows more than I do, and he's having to teach me half the time. And so we would love to have more students that could be mentors, so that when Tristan's like, hey, how do you do this? I'm like, so that
Right.
he has somebody he can turn to other than me, because I'll help. Obviously, I'll help, but someone more knowledgeable would be great as well.
Yeah. So, where are there areas where you've taught Elizabeth, Tristan, where you've taught her about multimedia, video and those kinds of things?
Usually, I've been a lot with it through several local productions around the state, and then a very small theater. I sort of kind of bring my resume to her, just to kind of know what I've been going through, and that you could never always kind of feel glad.
He was editing something the other day, and so when our students work on their homework, I go around and just kind of see what's happening and check on them. And I was trying to help, and he was like, "No, I can do this," and he was showing me how to do it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like editing a video for, I think, Mr. Perkins' class.
Right, right. Well, and that's something that is so important to be able to have people that can do that. And if there are students who are watching this, or maybe parents of students who are watching this and saying, this is a fantastic thing, how do students get involved in this particular program?
They're welcome to contact me. And my email address is Elizabeth or eastsnow@astate.edu. But they can follow us on Facebook. The How Transition program. They can email our mentor coordinator, Emily.Martin. But really, they can just stop by our area in the education building. We're in room 110, and I'd be happy to give them a tour, show them around, and talk to them about the program.
Sure. And you all just recently had an open house, didn't you?
Actually, normally we have it in October, but this year we're having it in November.
Oh, so it's coming up.
It's coming
Okay,
up. We have
okay,
one coming up in November the 11th, I believe.
Okay, very good. So put that on your calendar. November 11th, we'll be coming up with open house. That's going to be a great opportunity for the community to come out and check it out and see what you all are doing there.
Yes.
Do you all work with area high schools and work with school districts, or how does that work if you all work with them?
So for our open house and that kind of thing, to let students know about our program,
Yeah.
I speak with their SPED directors, their school counselors, and I will go out and give presentations to the different classes if there are any students that are interested. They have career fairs, or transition fairs, which are a lot like career fairs or college fairs, and And so they come and talk to me. But we also have volunteers also from different schools. So we've had a group from Nettleton come and work with our students during what we call their study hall time to help them with, studying for tests and working on homework.
Sure.
And so we've been involved with the different local schools in a lot of different ways.
That's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate both of you for coming up today. And before I let you run, Tristan, anything else you'd like to add, please?
Well, like I always say, you never go wrong with being a red wolf.
Wolves up, that's right. That's fantastic. Elizabeth, anything else you'd like to add, please?
Just kind of off, just what we were just saying. If you are interested in being a mentor, if you're interested in our program, follow us or message us on Facebook, send us an email. I would be happy to talk to just about anybody about our program and to show you around and get you involved.
Very good. Well, thank you both for being up here today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being a part of A-State Connections. And that'll do it for this edition of A-State Connections. I want to thank my guests Elizabeth Snow and Tristan Wainwright. I also want to thank Instructor of Creative Media Production Galen Perkins and his students who are behind the scenes doing a fantastic job running the show. Thanks to engineers Derek Herring and Clayton Holderfield for their help. And I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget, A-State Connections is heard every Saturday morning at 11 on 91.9 FM KASU and also streaming on the KASU mobile app. I'll see you right here next Wednesday at 1:30 for another edition of A-State Connections. So long, everybody.